Ask yourself a colder question than the one that brought you here. Not why people respect the ones they fear. Ask why the people who only loved you drifted away the moment loving you became inconvenient. Picture a man you have met 100 times. He is kind. He is agreeable. He says yes before you finish asking. When there is a difficult task, he takes it. When someone needs a favor, he is the one remembered, because he has never once made a favor feel like a debt. Everyone speaks well of him, and everyone, quietly, treats him as furniture. His time is borrowed without thanks. His opinions are heard and then set aside. When the layoffs come, his name is on the list, and the people who put it there feel no guilt, because somewhere underneath, they decided long ago that nothing about him would ever cost them anything. Now picture someone else in the same room. She speaks less. She agrees less. When she says she will not do something, the conversation simply moves on, because everyone already knows that pushing will go nowhere. She is not cruel. She is not loud. But there is a line around her that people can feel without being told where it is, and they arrange themselves around it. Her approval is worth having because it is not automatic. Her presence changes how others behave before she has said a word. The first man is loved, the second is respected, and the distance between those two fates is the thing no one wants to name. We are raised to believe these are the same currency. Be good, and you will be valued. Be generous, and you will be protected. It is a comforting arithmetic, and it is false. Warmth, given without limit, does not buy loyalty, it buys convenience. The person who can never cost you anything becomes someone you stop calculating around entirely, and a person no one calculates around is a person no one truly respects. Machiavelli saw this without flinching. He wrote that it is far safer to be feared than to be loved, if you cannot be both. Not because fear is noble, because love and fear are held in place by two different forces, and only one of them is in your hands. Love, he understood, is held together by a bond of obligation, and men, being what they are, break that bond the instant it serves them to break it. Fear is held together by the dread of consequence, and that dread does not leave when the weather changes. The one depends entirely on the other person's continued goodwill. The other depends on you, and on whether you remain consistent. That is the whole of it. Read that again slowly, because the word fear is doing quiet work here, and most people hear it wrong. This is not about terror. It is not about making people flinch or ruling a room through threat. The man who is merely frightening is not respected either. He is avoided, and avoidance is its own kind of contempt. What Machiavelli pointed at is smaller and stranger than menace. It is the simple awareness, in another person's mind, that you are not infinitely available. That crossing you has a price. That your no is final, your patience has an edge, and your disapproval, when it comes, will actually land somewhere. That awareness is what people are responding to when they say they respect you. They are not admiring your virtue. They are registering that you have weight. You have felt this from the inside, even if you have never said it out loud. Think of the people in your own life you would never dream of disrespecting. Be honest about why. It is rarely because they were the kindest to you. More often it is because, at some point, you understood that they would not absorb it. There was a cost. And the moment you understood the cost, your behavior toward them quietly reorganized itself. You did not decide to respect them. You simply found that you could not afford not to. This is the part that stings, so sit with it. You do to others exactly what is done to you. The friend who is always free, you take for granted. The one who is hard to reach, you treat as precious. The colleague who never pushes back, you overrule. The one who pushes back once and means it, you consult before you act. Your respect is not handed to the people who love you most. It is handed to the people who could, if it came to it, withdraw something you need. You have always known this. You have just preferred not to look at it directly, because looking at it means admitting that the warmth you have been spending so freely was never going to be repaid the way you hoped. And here is the melancholy underneath the whole machine. The people who are only loved, never feared, are not rewarded for their gentleness. They are consumed by it. The world does not protect the man who can never cost it anything. It uses him until there is nothing convenient left, and then it forgets where he sat. His kindness was real. His generosity was real. And none of it bought him a single hour of genuine regard, because regard is not the harvest of kindness, it is the harvest of consequence, and he planted none. So the question is no longer why people respect those they fear. You can see now that it was never really about fear at all. It was about whether there is anything behind your face that another person has to take into account. The agreeable man has erased himself in advance, made every line negotiable, every limit soft, until there is nothing left to respect, because there is nothing left to bump against. The respected one has simply refused to be infinitely spendable. She has a price, and a price is just another word for a self that cannot be overwritten by whoever happens to want something. None of this is an instruction to become cold. Coldness is the lazy reading, the one taken by men who confuse cruelty with strength and end up hated, which Machiavelli warned against more sharply than anything else. To be hated is worse than being ignored. The aim is not to make people afraid of you. The aim is far quieter and far harder. It is to stop giving away the parts of yourself that should have a cost. To let your no be a real no. To let your absence be felt. To stop performing a kindness that is really just a fear of being disliked, wearing a generous mask. The respect follows on its own, the way water finds the lower ground, because people have always organized themselves around the things that have weight, and they always will. You will start to see it everywhere now. In who gets thanked and who gets used. In whose patience is tested and whose is not. In the small, reflexive way a room straightens itself around the one person it cannot afford to take lightly. You will see it in others, and if you are honest, you will see it in yourself, in every relationship where your goodness somehow left you with less standing than the ones who gave nothing. Respect was never the reward for being loved. It is the shadow cast by a self that cannot be moved for free.